Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Strata Data in New York City. I'm here with Madhu Matta. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You're with Lenovo.
Yes.
What do you do with Lenovo?
So I've been very fortunate enough to lead the relatively new segment of artificial intelligence inside Lenovo, but I also lead the high-performance computing group where we're doing very well. And there's a very close relationship between high-performance computing and AI, therefore I get to lead both segments.
So let's tease that apart a little bit.
Sure.
You're in the AI and the performance group. Performance, processing, power. Can you explain the difference between those?
Sure. So when we talk about performance, there's different thresholds for performance, and there's a price associated with the different thresholds of performance. Now, processing is just straight up processing. You can have processing that you set metrics for very high performance of that specific set of processing for a specific task, or you could say, I have a lot longer time to do that processing, therefore I don't need to pay for that higher performance, therefore I go with a lower performance because one, the workload or task required doesn't require that level of performance, or does. So it's a price performance game that customers always try to play with. It's optimizing your task or your workload to either higher performance or lower performance, and there's always a price performance trade-off that you make.
Yes. So what is Lenovo's interest in AI? What are you guys going to do with this?
So everywhere you go, AI is now the latest, hottest buzzword out there. And I think all of us in the business want to turn that buzzword into something real. AI has the potential to completely change the way we interact with the world around us, the things around us, the objects around us, including a lot of benefits around how we interact with ourselves, change the way we run our lives, change our lifestyles, get more healthy. So there's a million applications today, and there's many more million that haven't been invented yet. So AI is the next big frontier from a technology perspective. Lenovo is a global company with about $43 billion in revenue. We have one of the few companies on the planet that have an end-to-end set of assets that can actually deliver to a customer a full experience. And by end-to-end, what I mean is you start with the edge devices such as mobile devices, move to personal computing devices with our PC group, we have our mobile division, and eventually end up where the data is crunched, which is the data center side. So we have assets across all three, and Lenovo is made up of essentially three major divisions: the mobile group, the personal computing group, and the data center group. So to a customer, it's a one-stop shop for pretty much any solution out there technology-wise, and AI is the next frontier. We want to lead that space.
So, and AI is evident in all three of those different groups?
That is correct. To the customer doesn't want to put the piece parts together. Right. AI is hard. Everybody knows the benefits, but our goal is to bring our assets together to deliver an end-to-end experience to a customer.
So, Lenovo hardware, right?
Yep.
Pretty much, we understand you guys as having a big hardware background. Correct. AI is pretty much software.
It's both, but yes.
So so you're building this end to end.
Yes.
With layers on top of it.
Exactly right.
And how are they layered together as well?
So if we go back to the core steps in AI, we start at the workload. For us, the idea is to essentially provide plug-and-play simplicity for AI deployments to customers who have no exposure to AI but understand the benefits but just don't know where to start, which, by the way, that probably describes
a lot.
95% of the customers out there.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's common with most of these customers is they have, I'm going to use a term here that's starting to catch on fire, which is data lake. They have lakes and lakes and lakes of data. In other words, petabytes and petabytes, in some cases zettabytes of data. Now, what do you do with this data? It's a minefield of gold nuggets. How do you parse out those nuggets that can benefit your corporation? So what we plan to do here is, from a strategy perspective, is to deliver plug-and-play simplicity to these customers, or to any customer out there, and we will start at the workload. We are actually developing our own workloads in this space. For example, our e-health workloads that will help detect cancer in terms of classifying whether in a specific location is there cancer or is it not, and then move on to more advanced steps of what sort of cancer. Now, we believe that with these applications and the infrastructure underneath it, we can actually drive the error rate of a human doing the same job versus a machine learning doing the same job by about 85%. It's an 85% better in terms of error rate against what a human can do today. So the goal here is to start at the workload and build an infrastructure all the way down to AI-specific hardware, since you talked about us as a hardware company. Yeah. And in between, we use a lot of open source layers that are out there today, the deep neural network frameworks that are out there today, the most common frameworks. But as we stitch the stack between the workload and the hardware tier, we are going to be differentiating in certain tiers of that software stack using open source tools to enable very quick deployment and very fast resource scheduling, and a GUI that will actually provide templates so that for many popular workloads, so that a customer can actually deploy these workloads very quickly with those templates.
So in the world today, it seems like there's two main camps, I think, and they're trying to grapple with AI. There's the large companies that are in what they call a transformation, IT transformation, digital transformation, whatever sort of transformation we want to call it. And they're doing that to not be disrupted. And that's the other camp, the disruptors, the ones that want to take over market share in large areas and become the next Uber or whatever it is they're going after. How do you guys work with the emerging markets, the disruptors, and how do you work with the large enterprise companies, the ones that are slow but trying to transition and transform?
So I think with the disruptors, stories like providing an end-to-end solution around AI actually is incredibly attractive to them, because we all believe together that AI is going to give you that edge, especially in terms of chatbot application that tells you your customer sentiment, your product sentiment, and the smaller, more nimble guys are hungry for that data to quickly move and change either their roadmaps or the way they deal with customers, as just one example, to quickly change, to come up from underneath the larger enterprise customers who are slower in this space to react. But I mean, we want to take the story so that it's an equal playing field across the board, whether it's a large customer or small customer. Here are a set of tools that you can easily deploy to completely disrupt the way you do your business and also protect against disruption from the outside, who are not quite quick to get there.
So Madhu, if we sat down 12 months from now and we have this conversation, what would you like to say Lenovo is doing different 12 months from now, and what would you like to see being done differently in the market in general?
So the first answer is a little simpler. We have very clear goals. 12 months from now, I want to be standing up here saying the world has recognized that with what we bring to the market, especially in our high-performance computing, our supercomputing space, and our AI tools, that we are leading the charge and providing the end-to-end infrastructure for very large research institutions and customers like them who are driving solutions or cures for major problems such as cancer. We want to be the ones that are driving that infrastructure underneath that, driving this research and driving the powers and the performance behind this kind of research. That's one piece. We want to lead in 3 segments that we have publicly put out there as our core target segments: academia and research, healthcare and manufacturing, versus trying to go after the entire boiling the ocean concept. We want to focus. So 12 months from now, I'd be very happy, and I'd hope to stand up here and say, Mike, we said we want to lead. We are leading these 3 segments. In terms of the industry, I think what we all need to come together as industry and say, look, we know this technology is going to change the way human beings live, our longevity, the way we interact with things. How can we come together, build a set of standards, and make it together simple for the average small customer on the street to have access to this level of technology, so that it makes their lives easier, makes them a lot more productive.
Excellent. Madhu, we look forward to that conversation.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks for your time.